Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? We're back again for 9 p.m. We have some good news today, some happy news, and some bad news. It's a bit of a mixed feelings day today, bit of a mixed feeling. So, why don't I start us with a good story and we'll end on a good one as well. Do you want to do that? And then we'll put all the bad stuff in the middle. It's like what they call a crap sandwich. You put all the good stuff on the outside and all the terrible stuff in the middle. So let's do that today. Hey, let me say hello to everyone. DJ, hey, buddy, thank you for all the emails with the execution information. I will show that in a little bit. Mr. Danny is here as well. Beth B, hey, my friend. I hope you have been keeping well out there in the heat. I hope you're not suffering from it at all. It's good to see you here. DJ's here still. Laurie, hey, Laurie. How are you, my friend? Annika is here. Good to have you, my friend. Marilyn Landis, always here, always on time. Good to have you this morning. Well, this morning for me, night for you. Rachel, hey, good to have you. And Charisma and Sean also made it. Okay. Have fun in the support call, Sean. See ya. All right. Let's do a happy one first. All right, let me load this up. Some good news out of a terrible situation. Something actually kind of nice for once out of a horrible case. I saw this last night. William Terrell's biological mum, so that's the mum that ended up losing William to foster care. She gives birth to her sixth child, with the missing boy due to have turned 13 today. And I think that's lovely. Here's some, you can't see her face, her identity is protected, but there's a nice photo down here of, I guess that's her and a new partner and some of her children. And it looks like she has been able to get her life back on track and not be in a sort of like bad situation that she was originally when she had William. She had a pretty down life at that time. I think her and her partner, the guy she's with now is a different guy. The one she had William with is a different man. Both had their own issues, and it seems like she's at least been able to overcome some of those personal challenges and move on with her life at least a little bit and have a couple more children. Looks like she's pretty happy as much as we can see with the pixelation, but that's a nice photo of her, her partner, and some kitties. So that's a really nice story. And as sad as it is that we still don't know fully what happened to William, there's William there. It is nice to know that he has some brothers and sisters in the world, or half brothers and sisters. But I still can't believe that William would have been 13 on Wednesday. That was actually yesterday. So it was his birthday yesterday. Uh, but for you guys today, that would have been, that, I can't believe he'd be in high school today. If he was alive today, he would be in high school. And that is very sad because I don't think we're still any closer to knowing what happened to him or where his remains are. But it is nice to see this. And apparently, she was seen pregnant earlier in the year. Apparently, she was seen recently with a newborn baby and no longer pregnant. So they are assuming that she has given birth now to that new child. So yeah, so cute story. I thought that was really nice, considering how awful the original story with William is. It's nice to see that she's being able to just not fall back into a pit of despair and have still fall into those personal challenges that she had. She's been able to do a little bit better. And look, she's got what is this? One, two. I think she's got three or four. So she's got three or four healthy kitties, and looks like she's doing well. But apparently she says in an interview a few years ago, she still feels very guilty about what happened to William and that she never gave up the fight to try and get him back. She said that even though the people who had him at the time were planning on adopting him, she said she had never given up hope or determination that she would be able to get him back and that she didn't want him going to permanent adoption. She had no interest in that. But yeah, there you go. I thought you might like to see that, especially after, you know, all the bad stuff that's come out. There we go. Yeah, it is good that she's doing a little bit better. I think they've had a rough 10 years or so, very rough. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to, one, lose your child, have it go to another family, which you can at least go, well, at least they're safe and they're being looked after, only for your child to disappear and then have this giant media storm around it for a good part of it, over a decade. So there you go. That's a nice story to start the day. I like that. All right, let's go to the title one because this is very, very awful. We've seen a couple of these recently, and we talk a lot on this channel about protecting females, right? Female abuse, domestic violence, that type of thing. But sometimes it's not the female, sometimes it is the men or the males. Here we go. I don't know why women love poisoning, but they seem to love it. Says here, women or wife accused of spiking husband's Mountain Dew with Roundup. Really? The stuff that they have those giant ads for that are like, if you ever touch this and you developed 900 cancers, call this number and we'll give you $55 to ease your pain. Really? You poured that in his Mountain Dew? It's evil. Really is. It says here, Deputies deputies in Missouri arrested a woman accused of spiking her husband's Mountain Dew with Roundup. Michelle Y. Peters, 47, faces charges of first-degree domestic violence and armed criminal action. There's a photo of her. I don't know if she looks like she's armed criminal action right there, but she could be. Investigators say Peters added the Roundup product to her husband's Mountain Dew on several occasions in May and June. She also allegedly spiked his drink with an insecticide. The man began suspecting something was wrong with his drink after he started feeling ill, he told investigators. The victim provided surveillance video to law enforcement that indicated Peters was tampering with his Mountain Dew in the garage refrigerator. He told authorities he was the only one in the home who drank that drink and it was only kept in that refrigerator. Peters allegedly told investigators she spiked her husband's drink because he didn't show any appreciation for the 50th birthday she planned for him. A judge ordered a no bond for her. Uh, so you didn't get enough accolades for the 50th birthday that you did for him. So you decided to spike his drink with Roundup. I mean, vindictive, right? Very vindictive. I'm going to play the video and then I've got another report on this to show you a little bit more information.
A woman from Lebanon is accused of poisoning her husband with weed killer. Michelle Peters' husband started feeling sick while drinking his Mountain Dew. Investigators believe Michelle mixed Roundup, the weed killer, into the soda. Peters told the sheriff she got mad at her husband because he didn't appreciate the 50th birthday party she threw for him. She is now jailed on charges of domestic assault and armed criminal action. Michelle's husband survived.
Joe had the most wonderful personality.
Uh, hey, stop it. There, I'm gonna have to hold it. Yeah, she survived, right? Uh, I mean, he survived, but you could have died very easily. Roundup is nasty. It is one of the most nasty chemicals on earth. I don't know if the new one still gives people cancer, but they have ties to cancer in the old one. And I watch American television and I always see those lawyer commercials or whatever, and they're like, "Did you ever work here, 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 or here, or here? Did you ever do roundup? Did you ever roll in the grass? Did you ever touch a dog? Call us today. We have a settlement offer from the government for $57 million, but don't wait too long because the settlement has to be finished by July of next year. You can claim your $27.50 if you call today." Uh, those things are mostly full of crap. They'll give you like I said, $30 because there's like millions of applicants for it. So it's not worth it. He survived, yep. Suspected something was wrong with his drink, and then he contacted the authorities. Causes Lou Gehrig's disease? That's horrible. Ugh. DJ says someone that worked at a grain place would drink it like the salesperson. Ugh. I doubt he's alive today. Yeah, I wonder what happened to him. You probably find out that he passed away at some point. Yeah, Roundup is nasty, real nasty. It's made by Mono whatever, I think so. All right, let me grab this other link for this lady. Is that the same link? Oh, it's just the same photo. I was like, wait, what page am I on? Come on, Mister Filter, stop it! I'm gonna glue you there with super glue. All right, there we go. Says here she faces those domestic first degree domestic assault and armed criminal action. No bond for her. Yep. Apparently, a neighbor of hers just outside of Lebanon says, I just recently found out that she was working next door to me, but that doesn't make a difference. I was just really surprised. Yes, I think we're all surprised when someone tries to poison their husband. Investigators say she added the Roundup to her husband's Mountain Dew on several occasions. Yep. Investigators say they begin to suspect something was wrong. I mean, the husband began after he started feeling ill. We already know that. Oh, this is interesting. She says, I have a lot of friends who are male and have been in domestic abuse situations. It's really important to let them know that it's okay to seek help. It's not the best thing to be a tough guy all the time. The sheriff said Peters finally admitted to putting the weed killer in her husband's drink and said she was mad because he didn't appreciate the 50th birthday that she threw for him. The investigation will reveal more as we go through court as to the totality of the circumstances. Is there more to the story? Yes, there is. All that will come out in court. They also said, I just hope I just hope things work out like they're supposed to through the judicial system. Peters has entered a plea of not guilty. She's scheduled to be back in court next week. It says here her husband did survive. Um, yeah, we'll cover this as it goes through the court system because it reminds me of that one in Arizona. And what happened to divorce? Apparently, Roundup is cheaper. Roundup is a lot cheaper than divorce. Apparently, you can get 10 divorces from one bottle of Roundup. You don't have to pay a lawyer and let them take 10%. You can, 38.95 at your local big box store. Get you 10 divorces. 10 divorces in a single bottle. All right. That's not funny, Ping. Shouldn't say things like that. Ping, you're so inconsiderate. Says here, while I was researching this story about the lady who poisoned her husband, I came across this. So we got a bit of a flip. We're going from males being the victim to males being the perpetrator. Says here, Stone County and Taney County deputies arrest 10 in an internet sex sting. So that sounds like one of those ones like To Catch a Predator, where they set up a house and they're like, "Hey, there's like a 13-year-old girl here, home alone on a Saturday night. I want some boys to come over." And then they go in there and they're like, "Hi, I'm here for the 13-year-old girl," and they just tackle them. They just throw them to the ground and beat them up a little bit. It says here deputies in the county arrested 10 people following an internet sex sting over 2 days. It says they arrested 4 people on Monday night and they're facing an enticement charge. A judge ordered no bond for all of them. They said the other county, Taney County, arrested another 6 people at 2 locations on Tuesday. The prosecutor has not announced charges for those suspects as of yet. You would figure it'd probably be something very similar as an enticement charge. Investigators say that the four responded to an online ad offering to pay to have sex with who they thought was an underage girl. When they showed up at the site, deputies made the arrest. Whilst many people think of human and sex trafficking as big city problems, it's now prevalent in rural areas too. I think it's a problem in this area because of Branson and tourism. There's a lot of transient people who come through these areas. I think it's opened the eyes for all of us that we have a problem here locally. Nobody wants to talk about it or think about it because it's not a fun subject. But the fact is, it covers every corner of rural America. I would say that's probably true. I would say it may be easier for some to hide in rural America because you don't have as many prying eyes as in the city. So maybe they said, "We're not there to arrest these girls or women. We're here to help them, give them the services they need. A lot of times they just need to get away from the trafficker." One victim we recovered had only been in the life, as they call it, for 3 days. She had been coerced off social media, which is a common problem these days. And 65% of those who get into sex trafficking have been coerced through social media, and the average age of introduction into the sex trade is 12 years old. That is very young, right? 12 years old. I can't imagine. It says the Comet team, which is a combined multi jurisdiction enforcement team, assisted in the case of arresting all these guys. And I'm going to play the video so you can see their faces of how surprised they look to have been busted. Don't you love these type of mugshots? I do, because they're like, wait, I was driving from my house, I was off to meet an underage girl, and now I'm in front of a big bright light and a camera with someone saying, look up here and say cheese. Don't smile.
In Stone and Taney counties arrested 10 people after a 2-day-long internet sex sting. Joe Hickman reports on 4 of the arrests made in Stone County.
Over the past 2 nights, the Stone County Sheriff's Office was part of a multi-agency sting operation.
We did 2 nights of stings in Stone and Taney County. In Stone County, we had 4 of these men show up thinking that they were meeting an underage girl for sexual activity.
Those charged were Naive Saldana, Dalton Parton, Christian Dywart, and Mariko Quazira, all being held in the Stone County Jail with no bond.
2 of them are on probationary citizenship. They've been in the country for a little less than a month, and that's Dywart and Quazira.
While many people may think of human and sex trafficking as a big city problem, it's now prevalent in rural areas too.
I think a lot of it because of the lake, because of tourism. It's a lot of transient people coming and going through these areas. And I think it's opened our eyes for all of us that we have a problem right here locally at home.
Nobody wants to talk about it, think about it, because it's not a fun subject. But the fact is that it touches every corner of rural America.
Florence Juneman runs Pathways Project of the Ozarks, a nonprofit that took part in the sting operations, providing help to 2 victims of sex trafficking.
We're not there to arrest these girls. We're there to help them and provide services for them. A lot of times they just need to get away from their trafficker. One victim that we recovered had only been in for 3 days in the life. They call it in the life for 3 days. So she was coerced off of social media, which is how it happens a lot these days. 65% of victims out there that have been trafficked were coerced off of social media. So anytime we hand our children a phone or a gaming system that has an app on it where they can communicate with a complete stranger, that's a vulnerability. The average age of introduction into the sex trade is 12.
Reporting from Galena, I'm Joe Hickman.
Well, right now, we only know the names of these 4 men involved. The other 6 people arrested in the sting have not been charged or named yet.
Joe had the most wonderful personality.
So there we go. Like they said, 12 is the average age for introduction to the sex industry. Hey, Ozark's True Crime. Good to see you. Wait, I can wave this way. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. They say Ozarks are a dangerous place. Look up Casey Rainwater. I will. Thank you. I will look that up for you. Good to have you here. The Springfield 3. Yeah. I don't know a ton about it, but Insightful One knows a lot about that one. If you know her, she knows a lot about that one. Angela says, I feel bad for his family. He's only 17 and someone's son. I don't know what you're talking about, but Four Sons Mom says, I couldn't get my hands washed fast enough to join the Monsanto Q&A. They not only build your linoleum, but their products work on and into my land and crops I eat. A friend worked for them in 2011. Yeah, apparently it sort of has like a very bad half-life and gets into the water and the soil. I'm not a farmer though. I don't fully know. Ozark says lots of people missing here. I've heard that due to the vastness of the area, that there are a lot of people who have gone missing or murders that are unsolved, that type of thing. Isn't there a really famous one from that area? I know the one you mentioned, but there's another one. It was on Cold Justice, maybe like 2 seasons ago. They had one from that area that they still haven't been able to solve. Apparently, there's billboards up in town still asking for information. Remember AstroTurf? Yeah, they still use it in football, but I think it's a different product these days. But yeah, fake grass. Yeah, AstroTurf. Oh, Moonlight View's here? Oh, hey, Moonlight View. Sorry, I missed you. Same with Mamma Mia. Hey, Mamma Mia. And Nana Lana. Hey, Nana Lana. How are you? By the way, I heard from your partner in crime the other day, Nana Lana. I'm glad she's still around. I'm sorry that she's still not feeling, fantastic. That's not good. All right. Hopefully, over the next couple of days, we will hear more about who these other 6 or so men are. They're saying right now that they don't have an update, although I can have a look. This was Tuesday. Let me have a look. Stone County and Taney County. All right. No, they only have released the 4 names so far. The other 6 people from the other county haven't had their charges filed or put through the system as of yet. So until they do, they won't release the names of those other people. They will at some point. It says here, actually, there's some more information here. It says one of the men responded to an online ad Monday and agreed to send 150 through an app in exchange for sex with a 17-year-old. Another one said they responded to a sexually explicit online ad and was told it was $150 to have sex with a 16-year-old. He showed up to the meeting place with cash and 2 condoms. Shortly after midnight, uh, one of the alleged offenders approached the address where the meeting place was planned before turning into a vacant lot where law enforcement officers were waiting and then sped off. He was pulled over about a half mile away, but initially told officers he was just out for a drive. Yeah, that happens a lot. Says here, a screen in the vehicle connected to his phone showed a map to the agreed meeting place according to court documents. Not very clever people. Someone called Dywert, 22 of Springfield, also responded to an online ad and agreed to pay $120 to have sex with a 16-year-old and drove to the address in Stone County. He was arrested as he approached the home and told officers he was a Canadian citizen who had been living in the USA for a year. Okay, I don't think that will change your charges at all. Says Pardon and Dywert were charged with attempted sexual trafficking of a child under 18. One of the other people, who was 28, responded to an online ad, agreed to pay $150 to have sex with a 14-year-old girl, offered to bring a case of White Claw, an alcoholic beverage, to the meeting place in Stone County. Geez, it is very much like an episode of To Catch a Predator. They used to do the same thing. They told them to bring very specific items so that when they are arrested, they can say, "Here's the chat logs. Here's the items that you brought and have in your possession. You are one in the same person. You weren't out for just a drive. You were coming here to do something really bad." Cindy Smith Carthage. I don't know that one, but I will have a look. Yeah, so I do enjoy those shows, and they had another one which was the one they had on Discovery Investigation last year. It had a woman that did the organization, something underage. Anyway, that show ended up being cancelled. Discovery cancelled it a few months ago, unfortunately. So if you liked that show and seeing them work the Predator investigations, the show was cancelled from Investigation Discovery, unfortunately. I can't remember what it's called. Is it called Undercover Underage? Is that the one that was? Yeah, I think that might be it. Hold on. Yes, that is the one. It has been cancelled. I was looking into it the other day, and they did not renew for a new season for this year, unfortunately. It was this one, and it was the lady who ran it was called Rue, and she did the organization or whatever. And SOSA, that's it. Safe from Online Sex Abuse, that was her organization. But yeah, they did not renew for a new season of that. All right. Yes, hi Ozarks. Good to have you. Wait, that's not it. Oh, is it? It's her birthday today? Oh, I hope she has a lovely birthday. I really do. And I hope she feels a little bit better. What? Okay. My email decided to die halfway through the show. Hey Vicky K, how are you, my sweet friend? All right, shall we get to a different story? All right, let's go. Let's go. All right. So we've had a few of these recently too. Why do people get so angry at fast food places? I'm it's not funny, Ping. It's it's odd. It's an odd thing. It's like fast food places bring out the worst in people, and people seem to lose their patience whenever they're waiting for food. They're almost like animals. They're like, when you're trying to feed your cat or dog and they're just growling at you or meowing at you, they're like, "Hurry up. I want my food." It's almost like that's what it is with humans, although they seem to go over the top. It says here dozens of police units responded to a Chick-fil-A in Irvine Wednesday afternoon after two people were murdered in what they believe was a targeted shooting. Authorities responded to the business in the 5300 block of North MacArthur Boulevard in Las Colinas around 4 p.m. following multiple 911 calls about a shooting that had occurred. According to Officer Anthony Alexander with the police department, when officers arrived at the scene, they found two unidentified victims suffering from gunshot wounds inside the fast food restaurant. Alexander did not confirm the shooting happened inside the building. Oh no, he did confirm it did happen inside the building. So that's pretty brutal. Both individuals were pronounced dead by EMTs who showed up at the establishment shortly after. Investigators with the Irvine police said they gathered enough information to determine that the victims were targeted and that the suspect had fled the scene before officers arrived. The names of the deceased victims have not been revealed, and the police department did not share any details about the suspect's description. Okay. Yeah, I played a little video for you too.
We begin with several breaking stories right now in North Texas. We begin in Irving with the shooting deaths of two people inside of a Chick-fil-A along MacArthur Boulevard. That is where we find NBC5's Candace Sweat. Candace, police just spoke.
They did, Meredith. We are still gathering information from Irving Police out here at the scene. I'm going to step out of the way so you can see what we're seeing from our vantage point. Police have moved us back from the scene. They have it roped off. But we do know this happened at the Chick-fil-A at the corner of Walnut and North MacArthur Boulevard. Irving Police and Special Operations are here on the scene. And again, they just roped off the restaurant with crime scene tape to continue their investigation as this is still very active and ongoing. We know at this point that the call came in just before 4:30. Irving Police say two people were shot and killed inside the restaurant. No additional information is being released right now about those victims, as police say they are in the process of notifying family. Police also say it is unclear how many employees and customers were inside, but they did say several 911 calls came in at the time of the shooting. They spoke with reporters just within the last hour.
There is no threat to the public. Like I said, we have received information that this was a targeted incident, but our investigators are trying to establish exactly what occurred out here today.
And a woman on the scene told our partners at Telemundo that her nephew was inside at the time. And according to her, his manager was one of the victims shot and killed. She said her nephew is an employee at Chick-fil-A and worked in the kitchen at the time. He heard the gunshots and ran out. He is very young and very shaken at this point. Police are expected to release information about that suspect within the next few minutes. Again, they say there is no threat to the public as they believe this was a targeted shooting. Meredith, back to you.
All right, Candace, thanks so much.
You know, I don't know if it matters if it was targeted or random or whatever. It's a business, right? This is not someone's home and they went there and they wanted to settle a fight or a grudge. This is a public building where people were getting their lunch or their dinner or afternoon tea or whatever. Who knows who else could have been hurt, affected? They shot two people inside a very small building. You know, they're like, "Oh, you know, it was targeted. It's all good. Don't worry. There's no safety issue for anyone else." What about the 20 other people that were there during the shooting? You know, I'm sure they weren't shot, but they're probably not 100% okay either. Marjorie, hey Marjorie. Marjorie says, I think the extreme heat brings out the worst in people. So much aggressive driving around my placid college town lately. Tailgating, horns blaring, it's disturbing. Yeah, maybe people are losing their patience with the heat. Maybe in winter, they're better drivers. Maybe. Nana Lana says, we are going from road rage to fast food rage. We are. There was a lawyer killed a few months ago in a McDonald's or just outside of one. And it was all because he was trying to be a good Samaritan and calm down a situation. And the guy they were trying to calm down went back to his car, got a weapon, and shot and killed him. All because he tried to calm the guy down. That's it. And he was trying to help the staff members, you know, control the situation, and he shot and killed him. It's awful. And people wonder why sometimes people don't help because they see stories like that. But awful to hear 2 people died, at least one of them was a manager at this, Chick-fil-A, and they were probably on duty at the time or, you know, just after. They said, yeah, 2 unidentified people suffering from gunshot injuries, and they both are deceased. Okay. Let me see if I can find, anything else. Is that the NBC Dallas Fort Worth? Yep. 2 people killed at Chick-fil-A. Yep. Let me see if I can find anything else live now from Fox. All right.
Breaking news right now out of Irving, Texas, as police are searching for a gunman after 2 people were killed at a shooting near a Chick-fil-A there in this Dallas Fort Worth suburb. I want to put up this tweet right now from Alex Boyer saying they're currently working on a shooting incident at North MacArthur Boulevard. 2 victims are deceased. No suspect has been located at this time. They're asking people to avoid that area. So not a ton of information right now, but police would only say if the suspect had not been located. It's unclear if they know who they are looking for. We just heard an update from police on the ground in Irving, Texas. Let's listen in to what they had to say.
50 p.m., the Irving Police Department responded to a shooting in the 5300 block of North MacArthur Boulevard. When officers arrived on scene, they located 2 individuals that had been struck by gunfire. Both of those individuals have been pronounced deceased by the Irving Fire medics. The suspect fled prior to officers arriving on scene.
All right. I'm going to stop it there because I have an update here. I don't know if they've got him already, but this is the man that the Irving Police Department are looking for, and this is the vehicle that looks like a Texas plate GVH6205, and this is the guy here. What's his name? I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, but is it Ovid Bernardo Mendoza Agueda? So I'm probably pronouncing that terrible in my Spanish accent. Says here, 2 people were killed in the shooting. Yeah, we know that. Police said they have identified the suspect and want the public to be on the lookout for 37. He's 37 years old. Last seen driving a silver 1997 Honda 4-door car with Texas license plate GVH 6205. Police said residents should not attempt to apprehend him, considered armed and dangerous. Well, he shot 2 people, so yeah. Let's see. That's the only new information I have, is that they're looking for that guy here. So there's a photo of him. So if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, near this suburb, you might see him. Call it in. Danny says, I have friends whose grandson was killed working at a McDonald's by a kid from his high school. What? That's awful. Hey, Kathy. Yeah, that must be terrible for your friend's grandson. How awful to lose a family member from a high school, rift. Says here, I hate mornings. Hey, that's so scary. My 16-year-old daughter used to be left alone to manage a fast food joint while her manager left the premises. I only found out after she managed an incident or an accident at the work. I would be taking her home or calling that manager so fast. The storm is coming your way. There's a big storm. I hope you'll be okay. Oh, geez. Sorry to hear that, Danny. That is terrible for your friend. Okay. That is the only update I have on this fella. Actually, I'll put his name into the interwebs and see if there's anything else. No, they are still searching for him. The Irving Police Department only did that update an hour, 90 minutes ago. 90 minutes or to 2 hours ago based on your time. So yeah, yeah, still on the loose, they are saying. Okay, hold on. Yep. So that's it. That's the only update I have. The McDonald's was closed for a long time and the youngster never returned to work. Horrible. It will affect the rest of their life. They won't feel comfortable anywhere. All right, let's go to our next story. So I have a good update. Actually, I'm going to do the good story now since we just talked about two horrible stories, okay? We talked about a fella last night who went on a crazy journey, we think, because he was in one place and then ended up 300 miles away a couple of days later. And we were like, how did he get there? So we were like, hey, he must have been hitchhiking. Well, I have an update as of this morning. His name is Doug. Doug Reed. Doug Reed located safe. He has been located now. He's the guy we talked about on the Late Show last night. That is good news. But I don't have any other information except to say that he's been found. There's no update other than that he has been located. That's all. I don't, yeah, that's all I have. That he was located at some point, and I'm guessing he's okay. Hold on. Yeah, that's literally the only thing I can tell you is that he was located. So we don't have to wonder anymore how he got to Dayton, Ohio, from where he was, from Illinois. We just have to know that he's okay. It doesn't give me any other details at all. Just that he may be off his medication and need medical assistance. So hopefully he gets that medical help that he needs now. You know, I did see that the house finally went into the river. Those poor people that lost their home. I can show you if no one saw it. Hold on. Yeah, I saw it this morning actually that the house finally went into the river. Let me see if I can find the one that has the video of the house going in. Let me pause this and have a look. Okay, this one doesn't have it, but there was a video going around social media earlier today showing the home. Nope. Okay, yeah, here we go. From CBS News. I can show a little bit of it, but not all of it.
Take a look at this. Part of a house on the edge of a dam in Minnesota has fallen away, a major loss caused by historic flooding there in the area. One family owned the home and a nearby store for more than 50 years, so we're watching their livelihood simply get washed away. Officials say the 114-year-old Rapidian Dam appears in imminent failure condition. Our Tom Hansen is there and spoke to people impacted by the flooding.
Hey there, yeah.
All right, I'm going to stop it there. But as you saw, that house yesterday on the Late Show was sitting on the edge of the bank, and now it's finally gone in. They spoke to the owner. She was well aware that it was going to go, and she had resigned herself to her fate that her house was gone, and it finally went in. Um, hey, Marlene. They ruled on the death of a 12-year-old. All right. Yeah, I'd like to look at that. All right, let's have a go. No, really? So they finally released what the death was for that 12-year-old boy at that camp, Trails, Carolina. Medical examiner rules boy's death at Trails, Carolina a homicide. Yep, I think we all knew that. They said an autopsy of the 12-year-old boy who died at a North Carolina wilderness camp in February revealed he suffocated. The report released Monday afternoon ruled the boy's death a homicide. The cause of death is asphyxia due to smothering. The manner of death is homicide. WBTV is not identifying the boy who died on the first night of camp at Trails, Carolina. According to the autopsy, the boy was sleeping in a bivy sack, a sleeping bag with an outer cover that had the solid outer layer zipped because the mech layer was torn. The autopsy notes the instructions for the bivy sack readily available online warn against zipping the solid outer layer completely shut. Staff at the camp put an alarm on the zipper of the bivy sack to prevent the boy from being able to open it. He was placed into this compromised sleeping area by others and did not have the ability to reasonably remove himself from the situation with the alarm securing the opening. The standard protocol was deviated from due to using a damaged bivy and securing the outer weather resistant door instead of the inner mesh panel. Lastly, yes, there we go. Lastly, the counselors could not check on him as they should due to the opaque nature of the outer panel, preventing them from potentially noting the problem and developing aid before he died. With the combination of factors, the death is best certified as homicide. Uh, the, the Transylvania County Sheriff is investigating the boy's death, has previously said he was waiting for the autopsy to be released before moving forward with the investigation. Search warrants first obtained by WBTV showed the boy was lying on his back with his knees bent. When first responders were called to the scene, rigor mortis had already set in, according to the autopsy. Trails Carolina is a camp for troubled teens. WBTV has been investigating the camp since 2021. The February death was the second time a camper had died at the facility in a decade. Uh, yeah, they tried to say that they had checked on that boy every 3 hours overnight. There is no way, because when they checked on him in the morning, he was already in rigor mortis. So nobody checked on that boy for hours. No one touched him, no one looked in on him. They would have seen it straight away. No way. The last check-in time was 6 a.m., an hour and a half before they found him deceased. If that was true, they would have known that he was dead already. It takes longer than that for rigor mortis to set in. There's no way they checked on him at 6 a.m. No way. Someone was being stupid and didn't follow the guidelines, and it cost that boy his life. So they should be held accountable. All right, let's play the video for it.
We now know how a 12-year-old boy died at a North Carolina wilderness camp in February. The boy's autopsy was released this afternoon. Thanks for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Siobhan Bryan. We broke the news online and through our WBTV News app. Chief Investigative Reporter Nick Austin live in Brevard breaking down any details. Nick?
Yeah, Siobhan, tonight the Transylvania County Sheriff says he's reviewing that autopsy released just hours ago, but already we're getting new details in how that 12-year-old boy died at the Trails, Carolina Wilderness Camp on his first night of being there. The medical examiner ruled the boy died from asphyxia due to smothering and called his death a homicide. The report goes into new detail about the bivy sack the boy was sleeping inside when he was found unresponsive, writing that camp staff had zipped the solid outer layer of the sack because the mesh screen was torn, and saying, quote, he was placed into this compromised sleeping position by others and did not have the ability to reasonably remove himself because an alarm staff had placed on the zipper. WBTV previously uncovered court records showing the boy was already in rigor mortis by the time first responders arrived. Now, it's worth noting that regulators with the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services ordered Trails Carolina's operating permit to be revoked last month. And just minutes ago, I heard from a spokeswoman for Trails Carolina in response to my request for comment on today's breaking news. She acknowledged my request, but Trails does not yet have a statement. For now, reporting live in Brevard, Transylvania County, Nick Oxner, WBTV.
You know, it is pretty rich of them to say, "Oh, we don't have a statement yet." You've had months to know what the potential outcome of this was going to be and have something prepared. That just goes to show your mismanagement of the entire thing. The fact that you say, "Oh, we don't have anything to say." What about we're sorry? What about some sort of an apology for having a child die on your watch? What about something to his parents? What about we will do better? What about we'll hold ourselves accountable? What about something ridiculous? I appreciate it. I've been trying to follow this one for a while. Nanalana says, why were his pants and underwear by his head? That still needs to be explained. But maybe it had some. I know when people are going through asphyxia, they can do some weird stuff. I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait for the full autopsy and investigation documents to be released. I'm sure that'll be a point that they are going to look for and try find an explanation for. And if they can't, then they'll ask more questions of people who were there. Yeah, there was another child who died about 10 years ago at the same camp. They ended up locking them outside in the cold and they froze to death. Hold on. Um, sort of. It's what I would call yeah, it's a behavioral camp, but also a medical camp. So people that have like advanced medical needs or detailed behavioral and medical needs, those type of people get sent there. Normally high maintenance type people that need a lot of help. But this place has a terrible, terrible track record, and they are just I don't know. They don't adhere to any of the safety standards. A couple of months ago, we actually went through the safety standards that they're supposed to use for these type of children, and they weren't meeting any of them. The local government actually showed them or gave them a show cause notice, which said you must abide by these local regulations for dealing with these type of high maintenance or high needs children that need a lot of help. And they're like, in our investigation, we have noticed that you're not following these rules and regulations which are set out by the state and the government. You know, it's a law, it's a requirement. You must do X, Y, and Z. And until such time that you can show that you're capable of doing this on your own, you will not be taking any other children. And I'm pretty sure they shut them down based like on their investigation that they weren't following regulations. So super vulnerable people. Yeah, normally people who have a lot of needs have had some sort of falling out with their parents or guardians, and almost like some of the cases I read about, it's almost like this is where burnt out parents sent the kids because they can't handle them anymore. So name that what you want to name it. But yeah, very, very sad. This boy was only there on his first night and they already deviated from protocol. And because they deviated from it, this boy lost his life. That just shows you that nothing at this place was done correctly and they need to be held, to the highest, you know, standard. I'm guessing people are going to be charged over this. You can't have a little boy die on your watch and then the medical examiner come out and say the manner of death is homicide, even if it's like neglectful homicide where because they didn't follow standard procedure, the boy died. Someone still has to be held accountable for those actions that led to the boy's death. So I hope to see that shortly. I really do. All right, let me see. Autopsy, 12-year-old boy. All right. Let me see if there's any more information at the ABC. They've been following it too. Yeah.
Our opponents.
Says here an 8-page report released Monday by North Carolina's chief medical examiner focused on the damaged bivvy or small camping enclosure and determined that the adolescent died of asphyxia. The bevy's internal mesh door was torn, while a weather-resistant door was used instead to secure the opening. The report stated medical examiners noted that bivvy products often warn against fully securing the weather-resistant opening because it may lead to breathing restriction. Asphyxia due to smothering refers to the death due to the inability to breathe in oxygen, in this case due to the covering the nose and mouth with a non-breathable material. Well, if that's not, homicide, I don't know what is. The autopsy report is the fullest accounting so far of the boy's death, which occurred in the care of Trails Carolina. The organization has described itself as a nature based therapy program that helps people 10 to 17 years old work through behavioral or emotional difficulties. Trails Carolina did not immediately respond to an email sent through its website seeking comment. The program is in Lake Tokaway, in the mountains about 120 miles west of Charlotte. I probably said that wrong, but someone will tell me. 2 weeks after the boy died, the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services said it was removing all children from the program's care for 2 months to ensure that the health and safety of the children is paramount. Trails Carolina said in a February news release that everything points to an accidental death. Does it? Because that's not what the medical examiner just found. The medical examiner just found that it's a homicide. Yeah, I don't think you know what an accidental death is. They said in February, we grieve with the family of the student who tragically passed and have promised to do everything we can to determine what happened. Well, not really, because you said everything points to an accidental death. You already made a determination of what happened. So I don't think you really mean this down below, where you say, we have promised to do everything we can to determine what happened. You are, going back on what you're saying. So it just says the boy had a history of anxiety, ADHD, and migraines. The autopsy report stated he was brought from his home in New York to the Trails Carolina Wilderness Program at the request of his family. he died less than 24 hours after arriving at the camp. A counselor told detectives from the Transylvania County Sheriff's Office that the boy refused to eat dinner and was loud and irate, but later calmed down and ate snacks. According to an affidavit filed with a search warrant that was released in February, the boy slept on the bunkhouse floor in a sleeping bag inside a bivvy that had an alarm on its zipper, triggered when someone tried to exit. So even if he tried to exit, he wouldn't have been able to, and he would have, succumbed to no oxygen. Says here the counselor said the boy had a panic attack around midnight and was checked at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. Bullshit. The affidavit stated he was stiff and cold to the touch when was found dead at 7:45 a.m. Nope. Don't believe you. Don't believe you. Don't believe you. How come he was stiff and cold to the touch at 7:45 a.m. inside a sleeping bag which retains warmth? It's there to keep you warm. But apparently you said you checked on him at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. I call BS. I don't think anyone had checked on that boy since midnight. That timeline would make a lot more sense. Not this bullshit of, oh, we checked on him at 3 and 6 a.m. and then an hour and a half later, he was dead and cold. Nope. Don't believe you. According to the autopsy report, the bivvies the campers slept in were placed on top of a thick plastic sheet that was folded up the sides in the form of a canoe because the boys' mesh door was torn. The weather-resistant door was secured with the alarm. Counselors checked on the boy during the night, but couldn't actually see him because of the outer opaque layer of the bivvy being closed. Then you check inside the bivvy. Like, who's running this place? Who, if you can't physically see the child, you have to physically check on them. That is your responsibility for taking on that child. When the boy was found dead, his body was turned 180 degrees from the entrance, and his feet were near the opening, which would have allowed the waterproof material to fall onto his head and face, according to the report. He was placed into this compromised sleeping area by others and did not have the ability to reasonably remove himself from the situation with the alarm securing the opening. The standard protocol was deviated from due to using a damaged bivvy and securing the outer weather-resistant door instead of using the inner mesh panel. So there you go. I don't know what you want to call it, but it frustrates me that you put you put trust into people when you give people your children, right? It doesn't matter that they have emotional issues or ADHD or um whatever behavioral issues. They're still, humans and alive, right? They deserve to be treated with respect. And I don't think that child was treated with very much respect. And yeah, it makes me really angry because there's no need for him to die. We get demonetized anyway for a lot of things. So that ship has sailed, sunk, hit an iceberg. Many videos died. Many monetizations died in that shipwreck. Because he was restrained in that situation and having the alarm on the zip, he was unable to modify his own position or get himself out of the bivvy to be able to get oxygen. I can show you what one looks like if you'd like. Hold on. So I'm guessing it is something like I'm trying to see which one it would probably be like. There's a couple of different designs that they use. Mm, maybe like this. This is probably not a great example, but maybe something like this. So you can see on the edge here where the mesh door is. Can you see the see-through mesh here? And then on the inside here, I'm pretty sure that is the weatherproof thing. So he was inside of here, and they zipped this shut. So basically suffocated him because no oxygen can get through here. Very, very silly. And he was unable because they put a lock on this zip in here, and he was unable to open it because they had put the alarm on the internal zip, not this outside mesh one, which is where they were supposed to do it. Now, you could understand if they put a child in here and then zipped it shut and then put an alarm on it, they can't really go anywhere, but they're okay because they've got a giant breathing area here with the mesh panel. But you zip up this internal one, like, what are they supposed to do? It's almost like you're locking them in a body bag. Claustrophobic. Yeah, very claustrophobic. Moonlight View says, no, no, no. Yeah. So that's basically what they. So you can see that yellow one on the inside. That's what they put him in. I'm pretty sure, at least, like I've never used one, so I'm not yeah, maybe something like that. Maybe that's the waterproof one or something. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, he was unable to access it and get open. And it basically, because the mesh wasn't open or there was no oxygen allowed to be opened, they he suffocated in there. I wonder if it's that one, the outside layer. That would make sense. So that's the mesh. That's the waterproof. So he would have been zipped up with a lock on here, and he wouldn't have been able to get out. And they had something else that was placed under him that was in the shape of like a canoe shape. I'm guessing it restricts movement, and that's what it's designed to do. So there's the internal and the out. So it's very squishy. You'd be very you know, very warm. See, that's the thing that gets me. If he was in there and he had some sort of sleeping bag or something else on the inside, he would be warm, so it would retain heat. These things are designed to retain heat in cold environments, so very odd that he'd be dead cold an hour and a half after they checked him. Yeah, it's a little too small for me too. I wouldn't do it. It's not my type of thing. I'd be like, where's the 5 room tent? I need the giant tent that has 5 rooms, that has a bathroom, a lounge room, 2 bedrooms, like a sunroom. It does look a it does look a little bit like a body bag. Yeah, it's an awful way to think that that's what he died in, and his last memories are just being stuck in that thing. Thanks, Sherry, for giving us what you know. Sherry says, I had to be trained like the CTI correctional officers, and there was no laughing. We were not allowed to restrain students without 2-man hold. Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, like if he was being unruly, then you would. Well, they had medical staff on site, including medical staff which could administer downers and relaxants and things like that. They had done that in the past for different kids. I know. It's a very ill thought out design. Very ill thought out. So I hope we get more on this, and we'll see who they charge after the investigation is complete. Because someone's going to be taking a rap for either manslaughter or whatever. It'll be something like that. Someone's going to cop it. But yeah, that case makes me quite angry. Hold on one moment. I just want to see if I have something else on it. Sorry, I wanted to see if I had the documents from February, but I don't have them in here anymore. They used to be in the StreamYard, but we must have deleted them. You had a 4th grader kick out a windshield? Jeez. Yeah, there is. There's a lot of young people that end up in hospitals, especially for behavioral or mental issues. Uh, there was a girl. There was a case I was reading about a long time ago about a girl who got into one of those type of places and ended up getting into a lot of trouble. All right. All right. Let's see if there's any more information on this 12-year-old. Then I'm going to start wrapping up and get you guys over to Trish. But I hope you've enjoyed the show tonight so far. Yeah, do you guys want to see a little bit of the camp? Maybe we could see a little bit of it. Here, so here's the camp. It's actually set out in a beautiful location. Look, in the wilderness
Said it
of
routinely.
Carolina. And I thought you can see all the trails that they might walk, and here's some of the buildings that they have. I'm not sure what this building is, but it's one of the buildings at the location. You got these, like, these look like cabins. There's one over here, there's one here. This looks like maybe the main building. Yeah, so beautiful location, really is. Really stunning, pretty place, but just horribly run. Just horribly run. Yeah, I'm gonna mute it. I'm just gonna let it play so you can see the sky cam. You can see the police down there in the vehicles or the local authorities. You know you're in a rural area when you have power lines that go up a mountain like that. You know you're in a rural area when that happens. Can you imagine the poor people that had to install those power lines? And they're like, what are we doing today? More power lines? Yeah, we have to install it up and over this mountain. Ah, yeah, sure. Why does our boss hate us? Why do they hate what we have to do? See? It goes all the way up this mountain. It's I don't envy those poor guys that had to do that. I bet you did. A pretty cage is still a cage. That's true. I just meant like the surrounding area is really beautiful. If they had a company who could run it better, maybe it really would be something effective for those children. You know, that sometimes kids benefit from being out in the wilderness. So I think that would be yeah, I think that would help them. All right, we got a couple more minutes left. By the way, I want to thank Cheated No More and Mr. Cheated No More. They sent in a Ko-Fi yesterday, late yesterday night, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing that. That is very sweet of you, and really does help. And I know it's tough for everyone out there. That's why we don't do the whole donation thing throughout the show because I get it. Everyone's having a tough time right now. But when people can and they do, I really do appreciate it. So thank you very much. And to Vicky K, thank you, Vicky K. She is a great supporter of the channel. And I'm glad she could make it tonight, actually. I haven't seen her for a few nights. And I was like, I wonder what Vicky is up to. Wonder what she's doing. But she came back tonight. I hope you are all surviving the heat. And where is this storm that you guys were talking about? Let's have a look. Hold on, let's look at the radar. All right, let's go to AccuWeather. Where is the... Oh, you got a couple. You've got a couple. Depends where you are. You got some in northern... You got some in northern Texas, some up here in Colorado, some further out near Utah. Even some in Nevada. Some in that's Reno. Yeah, Reno, Nevada, Arizona, Mexico down here. But you got a big system over here too. So if you're in Georgia, God, my Nashville is Tennessee. So you got these, and you got a system moving up here. There's Louisville, Kentucky, uh, Western Virginia. So you got huge. This one looks pretty good up here in the north in Pennsylvania. Look at that, heading through Lewiston. Nice big line of thunderstorms. So it looks like you got storms affecting even New York, no, that's Massachusetts, near Boston. Okay. Where's New York City? Right here, right? Where is it? I'm terrible with the northern part. It should be here. Somewhere up here, Yonkers. Yeah, I know Yonkers. Got a little bit of rain up if you're in the New York area. There's a nice cell out there. So yeah, there you go. So I don't know where you guys are. There seems to be two different parts of it. Nothing in the middle here for the most part, though. If you're in Kansas, Oklahoma, I know Oklahoma's there. Missouri, sorry. Springfield, Missouri. Yeah. If you're sort of down here in the south, Alabama, Mississippi, not a ton coming off the Gulf. A little bit here in Kentucky, though. This looks nasty. So yeah, there you go. And what about Florida? Nothing in Florida tonight. That's odd. They normally always have evening thunderstorms. So yeah, so I don't know where you guys are, but it looks like you got two split systems. One over in the far east here, coming up from Tennessee to like New York, Massachusetts area, even into Ottawa. And then you got this one over in the west. You got Denver and Nevada and stuff. So hope you all get some rain, not too much heat, not too much. Hopefully the rain cools it down, but probably not if you're in 100 degrees. 95. Ugh. Ohio Valley. Yeah, they often get some pretty bad storms out there. Started in the Midwest heading east. Yeah, at least half of it is. I don't know if this is a low pressure and that's why you're getting all this stuff over here. Like this is the driver here, but this is all the stuff coming off the back of it, or there's a giant jet stream here. I can't see. I can't see the meteorological, data. All I get is a radar. So, do we get a map? No, that's not what we wanted. It doesn't matter. I can't find the synoptic map. So you went to your basement in the storm? Oh, I'm glad you're safe. I'm glad you didn't get hurt and your home is okay. But yeah, it's you always have your safe spot and make sure you know how to get to it. Always, 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 always. Don't be afraid to head to the basement if you feel you need to. All right. Yeah, I think actually even the stuff in North Amarillo looks half decent. So some people are going to have a stormy night tonight. There's the low pressure system up here. It's over southwestern Canada. Yeah, there's a winding low pressure system. So there must be a jet stream coming through here at some point. That's what's driving a lot of it. All right. Well, take your phone, but also take your radio. A lot of times, if you have a really bad storm, you won't have cell tower. The cell towers run on power, right? And if you have a storm which takes down your power lines, the cell towers won't work anymore. So one of the best ways to get information is to have a NOAA weather radio, because if you lose power and you lose cell tower, at least you'll have some input from the outside world. Same with your home internet, it runs on power. And if you lose power, you won't be able to use your internet from home either. So yeah, always have a NOAA weather radio if you live in a weather prone area. It'll save your bum a billion times. You got an alert before the storm? That's good because Nebraska didn't on Monday. They had a giant stovepipe tornado that went through a section of Nebraska and it wasn't warned on. No warning from the National Weather Service at all. They didn't put out anything. All right. I'm going to get you out of here. If you're heading to another channel for a couple of hours, have a lot of fun. If you're having to Trish, have fun. If you're going to Kresha, have fun. Heading to AZ, have fun. Heading to Ozark's True Crime, who are here tonight, have fun. And we'll see if there's a late show. If I can build enough cases to do something this afternoon, we will. But we'll see. Well, I'm glad you're safe, Marlene. Okay. Hey guys, good night. Peace out. Actually, if we end up don't doing a show tonight, I'm gonna go work on a new ending video so I can update it. Just haven't found the time, but I will. Yeah. Good night, everyone. Hey, thank you to those people. Vicky K, thank you very much, and Cheated No More for their donation yesterday. You guys are amazing. Thank you very much. And to the people, new subscribers, and people who leave comments and like the video, I really appreciate all of you too. Have a great night. And if I don't see you until tomorrow, keep safe out there and try to stay out of the heat, okay? Bye, bye, bye.